Hi, beautifuls and beloveds. Love you. Scheherazade, modern day slavery. Part 6, 7, something like that. Anyway, I was talking about where did that story come from when we were talking about what a dreamlike situation would be for landlords, property managers. We were joking. We were completely joking. And portions of that conversation and that joking in the conversation ended up in this fake lease addendum with somehow our initials signed to it. So we can't have tape on the walls. Really? Okay. I was saying that it was a joke to be facetious, to show the stupidity that some landlords have. And also make fun of us, too, when we were landlords, property managers. What was the other one? You can't, and then I said, and yeah, I would never let them, allow them to have instruments. You can't do that. You can't. It goes against the constitutional right. But then they put it in, our landlord, or whoever did that, put it in the lease. Right?
Yeah.
And what was another one?
The instruments?
I just said that one.
Okay. You did the nail hole one, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't remember all of it. We would have to get it out, and then I'd have to have it magnified because I couldn't see it. But there were so many absurd things, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why does this sound familiar? And then I went back, did we have a contract like this on our computer that we were proposing to use and we were young? Did I make a mock one up and just as a joke tried to do whatever? And I was like, wait, where did this come from? And I realized it came from our conversation. It was gleaned from our conversation. And I'm like, that's how, okay. And then we, started piecing things together. Because it's like, that's stupid. Why put it in there? And we asked everybody else, and they said, we don't have this in our contract. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. I didn't think so. And someone was like, we wouldn't sign this. It's like, yeah, we wouldn't either. Because we were property managers. It didn't make any sense. So I don't know how they got our initials on there, except to say it was forged. That's bad. And obviously we're like, they can't enforce us to do that. And I said, oh yeah, it needs to be professionally clean too. It was a joke. Nobody can mandate that. And how would they know? Because then it costs you money. A professional isn't going to clean a place any better than I can, I guarantee you that. Plus it'd be very expensive. Yeah, they can't mandate that. And charging a late fee with interest, like, that's illegal. You can't do that. There's so much, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what bogus BS that was. What else? It was something funny. But it was hilarious to see that. And then we started seeing this in a lot of documentation. The USPTO, another thing too. It was turning up in legal documents, and I'm like, I don't think so. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, this is from our private conversation. And so these people who were eavesdropping, listening to us, they obviously recorded it. And there you have it. So then we were trying to figure out how people around me were doing the same thing too. So we figured that one out too. This is modern day slavery. Fun, isn't it? It's all about control and trying to supposedly drive me crazy. It's just pissing me off. And it's just giving us more evidence to throw in their faces. They started slowing down with this stuff because they're seeing it. We're just, throwing it up on the internet. Why not? We figured out how they're accessing people. So, okay, they're recording our private conversations. So it's not just gleaning from things that we already put out there. on the internet. They are gleaning from our private conversations, transcribing it, obviously, and it is given to their third parties as a script. And they are hired to either deliver it to me directly and work it into our conversations. Mind you, these are my own words that are being said back to me through this third party via surveillance transcription. You understand that? So then you have this other person, and they work it into the conversation, like, oh my gosh, let's just say we're talking about chocolate, and maybe in my private conversation I said, I really love chocolate covered strawberry. I don't, but I do eat them occasionally. Or I love chocolate covered cherries. And then I start telling you a story that happened with me and another person. So then this surveillance, people using surveillance would record it, transcribe it, put it on their third party. Let's say we have a dance audition. Okay, I'm not saying this is what happened. This is a hypothetical thing, although this could have happened already too. I don't know about this one. Or let's just say we're at a restaurant or someplace. It doesn't matter. And so this new person in my life comes into my life somehow, even if it's just temporary, and they will regurgitate. Somehow we work in the chocolate covered cherry thing, and they tell me the story about when I was with my grandmother and a chocolate covered strawberry thing, except they make it sound like it's their story. Nice, huh? That's happened a lot, actually. And it's been put on everybody that's just been around me in some way. We've also seen attempts at people trying to marry into and get cozied up to extended family members. So extended family members, be careful who courts you or who you court, because they're trying to get access to intellectual property. It's mine. They probably don't give a rat's ass about you. Sorry. I have to let somebody know what's going on. You know, and then, you know what a black widow is? Obviously it's a spider, but black widow is also a term used for a woman who marries a man to basically just drain him dry, you know, kill him off somehow. Not necessarily murder, but let's just say they make sure that they're unhealthy with their diet or something, right?
Pretty much.
And then because of that, they develop diabetes or heart problem or something like that, and then they keel over. That's how it's done. You know, it's always in disguise of something. So it's not really murder. Is that?
Yeah, pretty much.
These are hypotheticals, but I'm just saying. And then, yeah. And then when me and my beloveds are gone, supposedly they would inherit my, you know, all this stuff. All this. And then they could, and maybe they're the corporation's person married into my family somehow. And supposedly, oh yeah, what do you need? You want, oh, not a problem. I am the next heir in line. Let me sign this away to you. There, make all the money you want. Still kind of technically keeping it in the family, but not. You see how that can work? Nobody is getting my intellectual property except my family, and if anything happens to my family where we're all gone, nobody can use my stuff at all. So, too bad you. We caught on to that. That was pretty interesting. So yeah, tough noogies. It'll never fall into the public domain either. We know how to avoid that as well. So thank you very much. You can't use it. Hands off. Go make up your own stuff. What is that saying? That you don't have enough creativity, obviously, because you guys are not creators, you're destroyers. You destroy everything. Half of the stuff you guys have purchased, you're destroying. That needs to be looked into. You don't know how to create. And anybody who's good creating, they're either fired or they're gone too now. That's interesting. Isn't it?
Yep.
So yeah, we caught on to all this stuff. Modern day slavery. Oh, what a joy. Yeah. What else can I say about this stuff? Told you about the helicopters or trash being dug into. So yeah, I know the code, the star treatment. I really know the real code. That ain't it. But that's basically what they're giving me. Nobody should be treated like this. Gee, she's rising to the top and pushing through. We better start giving her a bone here and there. We better start doing something because she's gaining so much power. She's gaining momentum. How can we suppress this? Let's dilute her red ribbons thing and let's make it mean this. Wow, that's really a great idea. Damn, we didn't think of it. So let's just cherry pick from this. Isn't that right? Now you're trying to do it with this whole BS thing with this. What's the difference? Only this stands for the Third Reich and that whole bondage thing. Ugh. Mistake. You know, interestingly enough, the Third Reich, what were their colors? Red, white, and black. And I'm like, those are our colors. We're anti against it. Totally. But, I think they're kind of mad because we're trying to turn that whole tragedy with those color schemes around and have it mean something good. Our website talks about exactly what our colors mean. And it's very Christian, very beautiful. So I just really find it interesting. So now if I see any company with red, white, and black, we look twice at them. It's very interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Very interesting. And if you piece all this together, you gotta wonder, well, is World War II really over? Did these people just pick it up and take it in another direction? These are questions that need to be asked. I want to know the answers to them. I'm a human being in this world. I pay my taxes. I want to know what's going on. I don't think it's a good thing. Something tells me. Modern day slavery. What else can I tell you about this? Well, I'm not going to keep telling my stories so you can make money off of me. Scheherazade had to keep telling her stories so she could stay alive. Wasn't it the king that wanted to end her life or something like that? It's in the Arabian Nights tales section of his short stories. Aladdin and Sinbad. Sinbad and the Seven Seas? I don't know. But they're all part of Arabian Nights. Pretty sure. It wasn't Scheherazade telling the stories. I gotta look back into my mythology and literature again. I could be totally telling you something wrong. But anyway, I do know that Scheherazade was trying to keep herself alive by telling these stories. The king always wanted to know. Yeah, her captor wanted to know what came next. He was getting something out of it. And so all these other people were getting something out of it too. And then once I started catching on, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta keep telling these stories so I stay alive. Yeah. But I stopped telling my stories for these people. And I started telling other people my stories that I already told already to get help. I don't deserve this. Oh my god. Nobody deserves this. I don't even wish this on the people who are doing this to me. it's just so unfathomable. Sometimes I just shake my head and I'm like, if it weren't for the video evidence, the documents and everything that we have, I wouldn't even comprehend it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it was making it more real and real because you noticed it before I did. He's like, wait a minute, something's going on. It's like, yeah, I know, but all this time in all my life, I haven't been able to figure it out. I know something's going on. I do everything right. I love people to pieces, you know, in a good way. Don't get sick and twisted with that. I love people so much. I move the world for them if I can, in my need even. I have to stop doing that because obviously people took advantage of me. And I didn't deserve this. And I was like, what is going on with my life? I'm doing everything perfectly. And yet I've had people say, well, you know, that's just how life is. And it's like, no, something's telling me this is wrong. And then it was, and thank you for... And then we found out how wrong it was with all of this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, this is not a coincidence and this is not God. And then I had a thing, you know, show me the sign of the bee fly if I've helped shape your life or if I've helped given you something to look forward to, if I've done anything to help your life. And in some places it was a legitimate return of the sign of the bee fly. Oh, and by the way, they're trying to steal that from me too. You guys are awful. Don't worry, we'll get to you. We'll get to you. The law is gonna help us so much. And then there's the public too. They're not gonna tolerate this crap. Yeah, so putting it all together really helped. And I'm going to be triumphant over this too. And this is going to be the last flippin' thing I'm going to have to go through this big. That's it. No more injecting bullshit into my life anymore because we're on to you. You know how cruel that is? And this nice gal that doesn't bother anybody and helps everybody, and all of a sudden this bullshit that's so horrible is injected in my life. I know they thought that they were going to get some really interesting stuff with my accident. We started really catching on around that time. That was like, oh, really? And then the second one, more drama. But we were recording pretty much everything at that time anyway. So we have it documented. They're really looking for stuff. Ain't gonna be your movie of the week. Let's see, I already told you the dream I had the night before, how we prayed about it right before, you know, different things.
Yeah.
And how both accidents went down are very well documented. And some things I just wanted to keep a secret. I didn't want to live out in public land with all of this stuff. But if I don't do it, they steal everything. Every little thing. I'm like, oh man. And every time it shows up in public, I'm like, okay, let's trace this back. Where's the access point to this? And it's like, oh crap, this is tainted now too. Alright, lock this up, put this one away. We'll have it investigated and they'll find the bug or whatever it is inside of there when the time comes, and they'll get busted too. It's ridiculous. This technology thing has gotten out of control. What else? Look at this. I love this. I love this. This is a hinge. Guys, this was never meant to be a back bend. This is a hinge. No curve in the back. My back is a bit more flexible than that. But this is supposed to be a hinge. I wanted it to look awkward and weird. This is my character, or me, being thrust onto the bed in which she was going to be raped. You know, it's a great visual. I've had other people try to steal that one too. There was a music video done. We've had that done where it makes a circle in the background and stuff, and somebody made it to be a sexy little video, the arch thing, and then I'm gonna kick my legs. You know how I kick my legs in it and stuff. Guys, that's a mockery. When you do that, that was my rape scene. A little girl being raped, but it was an adult woman reliving it when she was a little girl in her, reflection of it. That's sick and twisted. Who does that? Somebody who takes great joy in the fact of, oh, she was raped as a child, let's rub it in. That's really sick and twisted. Whatever. We have it documented. We did first. It was our thing. Hold on a second. Adjusting my bra again. Sorry, guys. Anyhow, I guess that's alright. Maybe it's not. I'm still thinking about all this stuff. I don't know what's going to happen after all is said and done. I don't know what I'm going to feel. Maybe I'll feel nothing. I've gotten to the place with my emotions where I can turn them on and off like a light switch, because he was telling me about that. He's like, you know what? I can just love somebody, right? Or not love somebody. How did that go?
I'm trying to remember. If someone else is being mean, then I just detach from them instantly, like a light switch. And it's the same going the other way.
So he's taught me how to do that, and I have been. I'm like, oh, I like this. It's a lot more safe that way. Maybe it's not alright then. You know what? No. What has been done to me is not alright. People mocking what I went through is not alright. I know there's freedom of speech, but there are some things that you really shouldn't do. I don't know why anybody had to mock this. Oh, and we do know that whole scammy BS thing where a photographer who might be a third party relation to the corporations who may be harming me, they'll have the photographer, and say if they want to start with a friend or a family member, they will say, okay, pose like, they'll say, pose like this, and they'll have all the pictures leading up to this. So maybe the first one where they're, less arched back, and it gets to this place. And this is the actual place they want to go to. But to show how they got there, that it wasn't a copy, what they'll do is they'll show the pictures with the whole process going all the way through it. And they just so happen to pick something that looks like this. And they'll put it on somebody who they want me and that other person to maybe butt heads with. See, beloved, I'm telling you, these people were purposely playing us against each other. Look, I know you have your own issues. I do too. Everybody does. But I'm not talking about, your little encapsulated issues. I'm talking about when we were both being played against each other. I can accept your little issues. And I think you accepted my little issues too. Nobody is perfect. But I am talking about these people knowing what both of our issues were and making this happen, so they got content. Does that make sense? Look, we have to talk. Oh my God. You don't have to have anything to do with me after. And this isn't like, oh my gosh, now we're back in our lives and each other's lives and all happiness in it. Or if you want that, I'm open. I don't care. What I do care about is A, you not being harmed by it anymore, and me. And if either one of us is still being harmed by it, then it's still bad and wrong. So if you're not being harmed by it anymore, happy for you, but I am. And if I wasn't being harmed by it anymore, but you were, I wouldn't be happy. Because I do care. Whether or not you do, I don't know. But I do. And I want to have my life. And wouldn't it be interesting if the same people that were bothering me from the time I was a kid was doing that to you too? We have to talk. Think of it as business. Yeesh. I have no way of reaching this person at all. And if they had a way of reaching me, I don't know if they would get through, because these people don't want us to connect for more reasons than one. But you know what? I think we need to have the truth reign here. It needs to be known. I am getting so tired of all these corporations, not all of them, but the ones who are doing it, screwing around with people's lives like this. I didn't do a damn thing to these people. I don't even know them. I don't want to know them. They seem like horrible human beings to me. Somebody is authorizing something to happen here. I want to know who. We will find out. We found out this much so far. We will find out. Why is not hard. They want to protect themselves, and they want money, and they don't want to have to pay me for their front. And I have nothing to do with it. I didn't authorize it. I didn't want this done. And here I am. Here I am, stronger than ever before. God has allowed me to still maintain a decent amount of my youth, my looks. Alright, people say yes, so I'll go with that. So I still have a chance at having a good life, whatever's left of it. And I'm going to make sure it's long. My God. My mother never had a chance. My grandmother? Did it go that far back? I mean, how far back does this go? I know exactly where it started with me, and I can see certain things with my mother. And the only thing I can think of is my grandfather. He was not a very good person, I know that. That's what I would ask him. Forget about, hey, why'd you rape me and Mom? Forget about that. It's like, what else did you do? What don't I know? Can you please tell me so I can be prepared for it, so I can battle it? It's so much easier to fight a virus when you know what the frig it is, versus I have all these symptoms and what do I do? Oh, by the way, we're fighting that too. 3 years this March we caught this flippin' virus.
Yep.
Was that an intentional thing? Getting somebody else sick, knowing that they would be a carrier, and then getting me sick that way, knowing that we would all get sick? Or you have to ask these questions in the light of everything. And then I'm like, what? Is this a scientific experiment? Additionally, we're going to win. We're going to purge this thing. We're going to beat it, whatever the heck it is. I think they're very surprised that it hasn't killed us yet.
Oh, probably.
Everything. Might be something, it might be nothing. But every little thing is going to be just blasted. You know, out in the media. Out in public. Some things might be, like I said, some might be absolutely not related, nothing, stupid things that happen in life, but I have a feeling that 90 to 93% of what has been happening is exactly what we say it is. So, you know, you guys are going to be joining us on this journey of exploration, figuring it out with us. And really, thank you to those who are helping us. It's great. We're seeing hints, good hint drops. Okay, I made another video. It was in the State of the Union, I think part 5 or 6, maybe 6. I said, don't do any of these hint drops because it's making us think this and this. And I said it was rude. Well, yeah, I do think it is rude. And it confuses us because we're trying to figure out who's the good guys and bad guys. But, you know, if you do have something to say to us and you really want to help us, but you're afraid that by helping us it might put you on the line too, then okay, I guess it would be alright to hint drop to us. But please don't make it seem so negative.